I remember when I was a kid and my Xbox 360 got hit by the red ring of death. Eventually, I got an Xbox 360 Elite because they weren't as likely to have the defect, but that experience never left my young brain. After all, I waited for what felt like an eternity to get an Xbox 360 just for it to crap out. I felt betrayed. Plus, the 2K baseball games on the Xbox were just absolute ass.
Now here's a swing and a fly ball. Out of here, a home run. Last season, that ball is blasted high and deep into center field, way back there.
John, what did you used to say?
The swing and a ball hit into straightaway center. This ball is really hit well. Gone, a home run. Was crushed.
Which was disheartening for me after playing a lot of MLB The Show at my buddy's house since he had a PlayStation. At the time, my feelings on the Xbox were very mixed. The PS3 seemed like a really cool machine to me, and the console was intriguing since I mostly played on Xbox up until that point. I still remember walking into my average brother's room one day, and on his Westinghouse TV, which the engineers at Westinghouse brilliantly made a dual function after about 15 years of owning the TV, where it would double as a space heater. I saw Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, for the first time.
Seems like I am always saving your ass.
I said get up!
Run!
After you, Butch. See you in hell, kid!
Uncharted 2's visuals blew me away. Halo 2 was the only other game where I first saw it and knew this was a true leap ahead, a true next-gen experience. Uncharted 2 excited me in a way no other game had before when I first saw it because it just seemed so different from anything else I had played. My brother was on the mission Urban Warfare, and seeing the climbing mechanics mixed with gunplay, cover shooter mechanics, blind fire, CQC, I just knew I had to play it, which also meant I knew I wanted a PS3. Welcome back to Two Average Brothers, I'm Gift22. What made Uncharted 2 Among Thieves so great? I never played Uncharted Drake's Fortune by the first time I played Uncharted 2. The writing in the game was very effective because I didn't feel like I missed anything from not playing the first game, and I had a good understanding of the characters. If you did play the first game, the writers also did a good job of rewarding you for doing so. Uncharted 2 was released on October 13th, 2009, just 4 years after we first heard 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first time and played MVP 05 and you went into dead-on owner mode. But shout out to this guy, I found this random YouTube video and now I know how to make a lot of money on owner mode. It only took me about 20 years. Based on the sales numbers, it's fair to say Uncharted 2 introduced a lot of people to the series. Uncharted 2 sold 1 million copies in its first month, crushing the pacing of its predecessor, Drake's Fortune, which took 10 weeks to hit the 1 million mark. One major contributing factor was in 2009, Sony released the PS3 Slim, which dramatically brought down the price of the PlayStation 3 from $500 for a 20GB model to $300 with an upgradable hard drive that started at 120GB. This, along with the success of Uncharted 2, drastically moved the needle in what was a disastrous launch for the PlayStation 3. A Forbes article from 2009 called Uncharted 2, Sony's Holiday Game Changer had some comments that have stood the test of time. With many positive previews and reviews from game critics and the top spot on Amazon's video game bestseller list, Uncharted 2 could be the game to tip the scales for Sony. If Uncharted 2 takes off, however, Sony is poised to start out ahead for once this holiday season. Electronic entertainment design and research analyst Jesse DeVinch. 5 years from now, when we look back at the success of the PlayStation 3, the release of Uncharted 2 will certainly stick out as one of the tipping points that helped change the tide in Sony's favor. Uncharted 2 was a technical masterpiece for its time and intelligently took use of the PS3's architecture. The PlayStation 3 was powered by a cell broadband engine, which emphasized memory enhancement, power efficiency, and computational throughput, which sounds awesome. A supercomputer in your living room was the idea. Except it made it really difficult to develop software. Sorry, third-party developers. But in the case of Naughty Dog making exclusives for Sony and having already released a game on the hardware, they were able to take advantage of the cell broadband engine and made a breathtaking game that still holds up all of these years later. Seriously, it looks so damn good that even my dad commented on how great the game looked. And then he asked me if I was playing Halo. Uncharted 2 did everything a sequel should. Drake's Fortune had a total of 80 in-game cinematic animations, then Uncharted 2 stepped it up to 564. This was achieved due to Naughty Dog upgrading their in-house engine to the Naughty Engine 2.0, and it added more realistic textures and real-time moving environments, and it worked well with the Havoc's physics engine. So you went from Drake's Fortune, which in some ways kind of felt like a PS2.5 game, and then really upped it to a next-gen experience with Uncharted 2. The game's cinematics also benefited from motion capture technology, along with some stellar voice acting. Everything about it just felt like you were the hero in a blockbuster action movie. Before we go any further, thank you to whoever fixed the camera angle when you aim from Drake's Fortune. What the hell was with this wide shot? Now, let's dive into another aspect of what made this game so great: its story. Uncharted 2 is not a complex story in terms of the overall narrative of the game. It's an action-adventure like Indiana Jones, The Mummy, and one of its most common comparisons, Tomb Raider, or as some referred to it, Dude Raider. The heart of the Uncharted series is the characters. You play as Nathan Drake, a wisecracking, sarcastic hero with a heart of gold who can be more intelligent than he looks. The main trio of characters in the Uncharted series is our aforementioned protagonist, Nathan Drake, his mentor, the Hawaiian shirt-wearing, cigar-smoking Giga Chad Victor Goddamn Sullivan, and there's the altruistic and strong-willed love interest, Elena Fisher. Every man needs their Elena. The game opens with our hero badly injured on a train.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
And the game goes to one of its gorgeous patented shots, showing off the beauty of a fully optimized PlayStation 3 with the environment being very detailed. And just to make you aware, my footage is from the Nathan Drake collection captured on a PlayStation 4. But the point still being how impressive this game's graphics were for the time. After a lot of climbing around, some crawling, and some tutorials, that's it, Drake's dead. Drake has a flashback to the events that led up to this horrid ordeal. He was somewhere near Kokomo when he was approached by Chloe Fraser and Harry Flynn to go on an expedition to steal a Mongolian oil lamp that is connected to Marco Polo and his lost fleet. The scene does a wonderful job of showing and not telling when it comes to introducing the game's characters. It is clear there's so much chemistry between Drake and Flynn based off of their interactions with each other. They're just friends who haven't seen each other for an extended period of time. The first time I saw this scene, I expected Flynn to be in Drake's Fortune. The opening of the game also sets up a strong foundation for Chloe's role in the game as a double agent. As the player, you are introduced to her as someone who works with Flynn, only to find out she has a relationship with Drake. Cue the Phil Collins.
Gonna be fine. Trust me.
God, what a cheesy shot whenever they, just pan away during one of those scenes. After stumbling around the snow some more, you learn that this escapade started 4 months earlier as you start the museum heist. Much of this mission is just getting to the oil lamp, but it's a great way to introduce you to some of the cover mechanics and stealth mechanics in the game. Plus, it's filled with so many moments of character interactions that will just make you laugh.
Don't you love the way the water makes your jeans all squidgy? From there, we're in. Yeah, in like Flynn, right? What? In like Flynn. I don't get it. Just give me...
There's a guy above you, there's a guy above you. There's a guy below you, there's a guy below you.
One of Uncharted's biggest strengths is its characters' banter and interactions with each other. It's always so funny and entertaining to watch. After destroying some precious history, you'll learn about the Chintamani Stone and that Marco Polo found Shambhala. Then you find out what an absolute backstabbing jackass Flynn is.
Get out of the way for a little while.
I can't tell you the level of disdain I had for Flynn that continued to grow more as I played the game.
Face it, genius, you've been played. Oh, really?
This scene is such a great part of Drake's character. He's hilarious and doesn't let anything keep him down. The dialogue here is so efficient and funny and keeps the plot moving. Sully finally makes his first appearance in the game, and then she walks in. Nate is understandably upset after he has been in a Turkish prison for 3 months, but he listens and thanks to Sully. Also, you have to love how Sully is introduced in this game. He comes across as a caring and fatherly figure, doing anything he can to help Nate, even spending a good deal of his own money to get him out of prison. After learning about the ships in Borneo, Drake has the itch for treasure hunting and possibly some revenge.
I'm sweating like a hooker in church.
You brought a hooker to church?
Why not?
Replaying this game, all the dialogue and jokes still make me laugh. The Borneo arc of this game sets up Zoran Lazarevich as the game's main antagonist. This guy clearly has a lot of money, having his own private army, and all the historical pieces he could acquire from Marco Polo's expedition that Drake is so desperate to get his hands on. Chloe sets up explosives around the base that Sully and Drake get ready to arm as a distraction.
That's great. I won't even have to get my top off.
Then, as the player, you are introduced to Lazarevich.
No, Zoran, I can't explain.
No need.
The This one scene tells us so much about him. For one, he is definitely unhinged. We saw how he handled someone for stealing something relatively petty. This effectively creates huge stakes for Chloe working as a double agent because he is ruthless if you cross him. Drake digs through his camp, and now both of them are in a race to find Shambhala and the Chintamani stone. After some Nicholas caging around, you find the loading screen icon. After finding the Declaration of Independence, Chloe plays some of the double agent role, holding up Drake and Sully. This is very firmly when that role is established.
And you, Victor goddamn Sullivan, you still dragging this tired old sack of shit around?
What I love about this interaction, even though Flynn is still a piece of trash,
Trash. Yeah, I love trash. Yum, yum, trash.
Hell yeah, I love that little guy.
is the world building. Everyone in the fortune hunting world either knows each other or knows about others through the people you know. Maybe even some stories along the way that they've heard about other people. You'd imagine a dangerous world like this is pretty well interconnected, and that is reflected here. Just think about it in whatever industry you work in. You probably know people and have heard stories without directly meeting them, possibly. Then at the end of Dig Site, we are treated to Sully's most iconic line.
We'll break our goddamn necks.
My friends and I have memed this line so much and still quote it regularly. We have a joke where Sully just goes up to Drake. He's like, Nate, you should have seen this girl. She had the best damn neck that I've ever seen. Once Drake gets to Nepal, this part of the game showcases how savage Lazarevich and his army are as they decimate the city looking for the temple that will lead them to Shangri-La. His army was so savage that they were the match that ignited the powder keg to send them into civil war. You get to see all of it going through the war-torn city with Chloe as you're trying to find the temple before Lazarevich and Flynn. The missions in Nepal also provide some amazing spectacle and set pieces, like the events leading up to the helicopter fight along with the fight itself. The fight in the building while it collapses and jumping into the other building is just some really cool, epic action movie stuff. Desperate Times also has one of the best achievements in the game.
Hey, check it out. Marco.
Really?
Come on.
No.
Marco.
My wife was even giggling at that part. After some more fighting throughout the city, Nate runs into a familiar face.
Nate? What the hell are you doing here? Jeff, don't!
My name is Jeff.
I want to go back to something I said at the beginning of the video, that if you didn't play Drake's Fortune, that you will still feel like you didn't miss anything because of how well the game is written. Look at the character introductions, new characters and ones that appeared in Drake's Fortune. They have a clear relationship because they have a pronounced emotional reaction upon seeing each other. This is also present when Drake finds Elena. Then, as the viewer, your imagination fills in the blanks on what their history is in the crazy fortune hunting world. All of this makes meeting Elena in Nepal not feel shocking. It was a very wise decision by the writers to wait to bring her into the game, and they tied her in a very organic way because she's a journalist. By waiting to bring her in, you have time to get introduced to other characters like Flynn and Lazarevich as the antagonists, and Chloe as a love interest without feeling overwhelmed. This also sets up a love triangle between Nate, Chloe, and Elena. If you played the first game in the series, this would be a very welcome surprise. And for newcomers to the series, it feels like a very natural introduction to Elena's character, and you pick up on the fact that there's history between Nate and Elena. Elena's reaction to seeing Drake is priceless, and Drake looks very happy to see her.
Oh, Elena Fisher. Last year's model.
That's cute.
You gotta love the writing, that is great. To my knowledge, I don't know what happened between Elena and Nate after the events of the first game, and it's still something I'm curious about. If you know what happened, drop it in the comments. Chloe isn't happy about the idea of Jeff and Elena joining them, and you get to learn more about their characters here. Drake is a very noble hero type, and Chloe just wants to take care of business. She's not as ruthless as Flynn, but you get some of that. We understand why she doesn't want to keep any more people around because she's afraid of Lazarevich, and she's already playing the role of a double agent. But it also pulls on the emotional connection we have to these characters and makes Chloe feel that much more selfish. Then get ready for some hardcore Nicolas Caging. Some of Uncharted's bread and butter is also its puzzle solving en route to finding your mythological treasure. The Path of Light is such a fun exploratory mission. You have to love the scale and detail of these puzzles. The visuals and wide up environments are still so damn impressive. The detail, lighting, and environment, it's all so beautiful as you climb around the room to solve an ancient mystery. Then when you get here to this rock formation turning into a map, it's just really cool and fun to watch. Yeah, it's real convenient. Nate knew exactly what he was looking at and where it is.
Read a book or two.
Cool. Then when you get out of the temple, the environment is used as foreshadowing. This is the most dreary an outside environment has looked the whole game in terms of weather. And man, you just have to feel for Jeff, and it's such a well-pronounced part of Nate's character to help others at all costs. Then Chloe just continues to come off cold.
Did you carry him all the way from the temple? Shame.
Losing Jeff isn't surprising, and they did a good job making it as impactful as they did in such a short period of time. I think what hurts the most about his death is that Drake feels guilty, and a lot of it stems from how this impacts Elena directly. Obviously, you feel so terrible for the loss of life. Knowing that someone you love is dealing with grief just brings out a certain empathy in people, and they seek comfort from close friends. The other effective part about introducing a character whose purpose is loss is that it makes Lazarevich that much more evil to straight up kill someone in cold blood. He is by definition a psychopath. It could have very well have been Flynn who killed Jeff, but he didn't. It makes Lazarevich more compelling as a villain because at this point, we still aren't sure of his motives for wanting to find Shambhala. He has all the money he could want, so why is he so hellbent on this? We know that Drake is just in it for the money. The next part of the journey is set up well from this encounter because come on, Chloe has to be figured out by this point. Elena is such a sweetheart for being willing to help Drake rescue Chloe. It's a great way to express her as a selfless individual. I love this little interaction between Drake and Elena after escaping Lazarevich. The look Drake gave her when they ran into each other, then the look they give each other here still implies that there's feelings between them. Having Drake go after Chloe is just consistent with his character, and it's implied that they're still in a relationship. One thing I wondered with Chloe following all of this, did Lazarevich keep her alive because he thought she was still loyal to him, or was she just straight up used as bait? I'd definitely go with the latter, but nonetheless it's still interesting to think about. And for the pacing of this video, I'll talk about locomotion and some other stuff like that when we get to the gameplay portion of the video.
Chloe, come on, we don't have time for this.
You're right. So get off the train while you still can.
And leave you with them.
You made your choice.
I don't really get Chloe's angle here, basically just telling Nate to pound sand. Did the bitter feelings come from her being compromised if she was found with Nate? Are there still some weird feelings given Nate's past relationship with Elena? Is she more loyal to Flynn and Lazarevich? She could have left, but she chose not to. I guess you could say she was caught between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alright. Things are only going to get more intense.
No.
This guy. Flynn is such a dirty bastard. I'm more passionate about my disdain for him than I am Lazarevich, strangely enough. And the question about you're probably wondering how I got here, it's finally answered. After replaying the beginning of the game, Drake wakes up to an unfamiliar but friendly face. After some walking around and sniffing some fresh manure straight from the source, of course, Elena rescued Nate. They both share that same nobility about doing the right thing, and it just leaves you wondering what happens to them between games. Nate then goes on to meet Karl Schafer, who was once on the same quest he was, and gives him that same speech of, kid, I did this back in my day, and your journey's not done, it's just beginning. Now, Schafer was part of a certain military regime you fight in COD Zombies, and his character is actually based off of a real-life German explorer, hunter, and zoologist named Ernst Schafer. Ernst Schafer joined the SS in 1933, and the interesting part about the writing in Uncharted 2 is the component of historical fiction. The Germans actually looked for a lot of mythological treasures during World War II, like the Holy Grail, Thor's hammer, amongst many other things, but for the sake of this video, Shambhala was one of them. The Germans did have an expedition in Tibet between 1938 and 1939. The expedition was led by Schafer, and initial funding was provided by the Ahnenerbe, which was a truly awful organization that was interested in mythological treasures like Agartha and Shambhala. For this expedition, one of the focal points the Ahnenerbe wanted was to prove world ice theory, which states that ice is the fundamental foundation of the universe. Were you aware of Earth's 5 other moons that we used to have? Yeah, it's a pseudoscience. Schafer laid out his scientific rules that would govern the expedition and refused to have Edmund Kiss, a huge proponent of world ice theory, join the crew, which caused the Ahnenerbe to pull their funding. Heinrich Himmler, the founder of the Ahnenerbe and a high-ranking Nazi official, allowed Schafer to find other sources of funding, and the Ahnenerbe would only pay for the crew's flight home. The crew returned home in August of 1939, with the crew having discovered a couple of things, including a new animal they named the Himalayan tar, and an alleged Yeti, although it just turned out to be a Himalayan bear. In addition, they collected a lot of seeds with the idea of bringing them back to Germany to achieve agricultural independence, along with many other things. Now, this is a very simple, condensed breakdown of this expedition in relation to how this story plays into Uncharted 2, so please research further as needed. Until my latest playthrough, I never knew the inspiration behind Karl Schafer's character, and it makes him much more important in the game because it provides us with valuable information on why the SS were in Tibet. The expedition gained the Germans a lot of favor with the people of Tibet, so that makes sense as to why Schafer's in good standing with the local people. The German organization that initially looked to fund the expedition was interested in the mythological aspects, with it being believed that the entrance to Agartha/Shambhala was in the Himalayas. That also gives Schafer motive for why he went on this journey, and we will soon learn why he left it all behind.
Ahnenerbe? Oh, Jesus. They were SS. Tenzin. Schafer did this.
Cousin, I know you're watching this, and if you're not, I'm sending you the link. I still remember you spoiling this for me. Upon finding Schafer's expedition, Drake and Tenzin are attacked by a wild pack of Chewbacca's. After escaping Kashyyyk, you see the village is getting decimated, and my god is it sad. The mission Where Am I shows you what kind and peaceful people the Tibetans are, and you already know they don't have the technology to fight off a modern army. Nate and Elena blame themselves, but Lazarevich would have done this either way. A lot of what immediately follows is gameplay and action-packed stuff, like fighting a tank. And then you get the typical cheesy death thing from Schafer where he says his last sentence and peace out.
I should have killed you myself when I had the chance. Not a mistake I will make twice.
A few moments later.
Looks like it's the end of the road, mate.
No, not yet.
Bruh. For real. Immediate contradiction. So Chewbacca isn't really Chewbacca, it's someone who drank the blue milk to become a guardian of Shambhala. Nate, Chloe, and Elena team up to join forces and save the frickin' world.
We're standing in the middle of Shambhala, and you're questioning what's possible?
I mean, Elena has a really strong point here. If you are one of them, these myths aren't so mythological anymore, and we have been told that other people throughout history have done some awful things, only having a fraction of the stone. Therein lies Lazarevich's motive. All of the characters are consistent here, and they are all able to get Chloe on board. Chloe calculates things. She isn't as bold as Nate or Elena in a sense, but you can tell she has a good heart. And again, you're in Shambhala. Maybe take down the insane war criminal. Eventually, Tom Holland and the rest of the Discount Avengers find the Chintamani Stone. Drake uses his superpower of him or his journal knowing everything to figure out that the sap comes from the Tree of Life and drinking it changes you. Flynn shows up looking mangled and on death's doorstep. Lazarevich had to be the one to do this to him, right? Why is he still loyal to him until the end? Maybe the only thing that could give him peace at this point is just stopping Nate.
He took the pin.
Get back!
Elena!
With tensions running high and Elena being badly injured, this scene has so much weight, and the voice acting, motion capture, everything is just incredible and engaging.
Just get her out of here.
Not without you.
Look, if that stuff could really transform Lazarevich and his army.
Please don't do this.
If it could actually make him invincible, and I didn't try to stop it.
But this is suicide. And you know it.
Just go. Get as far away from this place as you can.
Drake gets down to the tree and finds Lazarevich doing bath salts. I like the interaction between Drake and Lazarevich after the boss fight. Lazarevich is kind of like a mirror opposite of Drake and does bring a valid point forward. Both of them have brought a lot of death and destruction in their quest to find Shambhala, but the Guardians give Lazarevich a rather gruesome end. And it's not a Nathan Drake adventure if everything doesn't fall apart at the end. So you race out of the city in 2012, the movie style. Try not to go down to the ground beneath you, and you still have to save Elena, who really isn't doing well.
Come on, stay with us. You're gonna be okay, all right? You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be just fine. Elena, don't do this. Well, look who's not supposed to be out of bed.
Yeah, he's a lousy patient.
Oh, thank God she's okay. The ending of this game is just so perfect and sweet. Our hero saves the day, gets the girl, and happily ever after. Yesh. Sully has other plans. Possibly with Chloe.
Which way'd Chloe go? See you later.
Oh, no.
You're a dirty old man, Sullivan.
The story of Uncharted 2 is so great because of its characters. Nathan Drake is such a fantastic hero to root for. He has a great charm and charisma to him. He's a very noble and bold individual. He can be loyal to a fault, which puts him in some rough situations, and he can kind of be an ass to Sully at times. But that's the beauty of his character. He isn't perfect, he's relatable. We want to strive to be like him with his bravery and ability, even when the odds are stacked against you. His humor and quips are such a great part of his character. Wait a second. That sounds like Spider-Man. Is that why they had Tom Holland play him in that dumpster fire? Plus, he's a pretty chill guy. He does badass things and always gets the girl. It's great when you have a hero you just want to see win. Victor goddamn Sullivan. After playing through the game again, he isn't really in it too much. It's kind of like Darth Vader in A New Hope. We don't see much of him, but when we do, it's impactful. Nate is like the son he never had and loves him deeply. He knows when he's had too much, but he will always be there when you need him. He's like an older version of Drake. A little wiser, less of a temper, but still needs to figure things out. Elena Fisher is a true ride-or-die type of girl. She's very altruistic and can be naive at times. She's a great love interest for Drake and balances out Chloe's negative attributes to help push Nate in pursuit of the greater good. Her positivity is also a good balance with all the mayhem that goes on with Lazarevich and his army. The only real weakness that is explored in her character is that she can be too optimistic. It about got her killed. Now, Harry Flynn, he's really more like a mirror opposite to Drake than Lazarevich is. The charm, humor, and intellect when he feels like using it. Drake would be Lazarevich if he turned completely to the dark side.
Drake!
Flynn's character is brilliant because Lazarevich is pretty one-dimensional. The man is straight up evil. Flynn adds in a little more complexity there. You can tell at the start of the game that he and Nate were really good friends for a while, and after spending some time with Flynn, we like him. His betrayal at the start of the game is really impactful and gives you a good villain to hate to really pull you into the story. It's something that really makes you root for Nate. Then there is Zoran Lazarevich, the main villain that really pulls this together. Just because his character is one-dimensional doesn't mean that's a bad thing. He is properly supported by other characters that make it work. We know his ambition is to expand his power. Other people in history sought the same thing through actually looking for mythological treasures. We constantly see just how ruthless he is in pursuit of his goal. We see his actions ramp up progressively. It was a little horrifying when he just straight up shot one of his men in the face.
Would not. Compassion is the enemy.
He's a great villain that you just want to bring down, and he's pretty scary. The whole journey of the game is wonderful. You get to go to so many destinations and environments that really make you feel like you're traveling the world to find Shambhala. The environments are so gorgeous and meticulously detailed that it really drives home the feeling of traveling the world. It also makes all of the digging up clues and puzzle solving so rewarding. It feels like a race against the clock to beat Lazarevich to save the frickin' world. What started as a quest to find some loot and to get rich ends up becoming a quest to stop evil, and our hero, Drake, recognizes that. And going back to the end of the game, the love triangle is resolved very nicely.
Chloe, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Really, it's all right. Just do yourself a favor, cowboy. Tell her.
Chloe went through her own arc and came out more heroic. She was also very mature in recognizing that Drake and Elena were a good fit. Plus, this was such a sweet thing to say. Now, there are some really convenient and cheesy things that happen throughout the story. Like I said before, it's like Drake always knows something someone else doesn't, like with the rock formation that shows the entrance to Shambhala for the sake of keeping the plot moving. If he doesn't know it off the top of his head, it's in his journal.
Such a little book, such big cylinders.
To counteract this, it's like they have Lazarevich and Flynn conveniently beat Drake to the punch at times.
What's the matter, mate? Disappointed Lazarevich beat you to it?
It's like characters conveniently know something someone else doesn't when they feel like it just so they can beat the other person to the punch. We are told Lazarevich is smart, and we don't really see it. One thing I pointed out earlier was how he told Drake he won't let him get away and he won't make that mistake again to immediately make that mistake again. The "I'm going to kill you after" is such a tired trope. It doesn't seem like he actually figures out anything for himself. He just yells at other people to figure out things for him.
I am surrounded by traitors and fools! What is this?
How should I know?
Find a way across and fix it! Onto the bridge! Drake!
If you talk louder, you're smarter! Now, obviously, they can't kill Nate for the sake of the story, so we get the...
Man, these guys are elusive.
Punch, yell, run, go. But this stuff's to be expected with a playable action thriller movie, so you can get past it easily and enjoy an incredible 26-mission story. This game has some of the best written dialogue out of any game I've ever played. You'll find yourself constantly laughing and quoting a lot of what is said throughout the game. The story does its job, but the characters really tie it all together. Uncharted isn't just story. The gameplay is so much fun. My favorite encounters in the game are when the climbing mechanic is mixed in. The vertical dimension to Uncharted's combat is something that makes it truly unique and such a fun gameplay experience. Being able to shoot and pull enemies off of ledges while climbing is something incredibly unique to Uncharted. The N2FS pistol is one of my favorite guns in the entire game. The accuracy is solid, and when it lacks in power, it makes up for a rate of fire. The shooting is consistent with you being able to blind fire in any position you're in. The weapon sandbox is great between secondary weapons, mostly pistols with a few exceptions, rifles, and special weapons. The AK is a good starting weapon that is always reliable. Then by the time you get to the M4, you're excited to have something with some more punch. The game sets you up nicely to have encounters with the Dragon Sniper, and some more set-piece boss fights like the tank and helicopter fight gives you a fun reason to use the RPG and grenade launcher, respectively. The gunplay also mixes in the hand combat in a fun way where you can run and gun and follow it up with a melee attack. The hand-to-hand combat isn't a huge part of the gameplay, but it was well thought out and can be very useful. The combat was very thoughtfully designed, with you being able to do pretty much every part of it always. You can blind fire while standing still, attached to cover, and hanging from ledges. You can always punch, grab someone if you're attached to cover, or hanging on a ledge. The level design and set pieces of this game are amazing. The opening train sequence is iconic, and speaking of trains, the level design for locomotion is so fascinating due to some nice camera tricks on the infinite loop. I'll leave a link in the description of this video, how the train level works in Uncharted 2 by Freako. He does a great job of going into the level design. There's times in the game that you will just look around at the skybox and parts of the level and really take it all in. This is especially true for puzzle-solving parts of the game with how detailed the environments are. Then there are times you will get these nice swooping wide shots for scale in the game. Having a stealth element adds tension to encounters and gives you another way to explore encounters. It's rewarding when you're able to take down an enemy squad, all while being stealth. Then you get some done fun moments of just using turrets to take down vehicles or waves of enemies. Nothing like mowing down a bunch of Lazarevich's men crossing a bridge. The gunplay and overall physics of the game are a huge step up from Drake's Fortune. The controls feel so much more responsive, and the game doesn't feel like it has this odd zero gravity effect that's present in Drake's Fortune. Like when you just jump and you're kind of like slowly being pulled back towards the ground. Upgrading the Naughty engine is such a huge part of why this game is so great. The first game had the foundation with the characters, story, writing, and impressive visuals. Uncharted 2's gameplay pulled it all together and enhanced what the first game did to turn Among Thieves into a masterpiece that has stood the test of time. Uncharted 2's multiplayer is seriously overlooked, and it still bothers me how straight up neglected it was in the Nathan Drake collection. They left Uncharted 2 and 3's multiplayer behind on the PS3, and the servers were shut down in 2019, so the preservation here was straight Naughty Dog shit. The Nathan Drake collection is entirely single player and just the game's story, so you can't even walk around the maps by yourself. There is nothing you can do locally, and it's a huge downside for the Nathan Drake collection. Just to really drive the point home, it's campaigns, nothing else. I haven't played Uncharted 2 or 3's multiplayer since 2016 at the earliest, and it still lives rent-free in my mind because that's how damn good it was. It was such a fun, well-balanced arena-based shooter that combined all of the elements of the fundamental gameplay. I preferred Uncharted 2's multiplayer over 3 because I like starting with the same weapons and map control. Uncharted 3 went on to be more like Call of Duty with create a class and perks. But it was still really fun, and I played it a lot because it still played like Uncharted. I remember playing Uncharted 3's multiplayer in its open beta, and how Uncharted 3 was the first game I ever pre-ordered. This is just one example of how big of an impact Uncharted 2 had on the gaming community. Plus, who can forget those Subway commercials?
Get your coat on 30-ounce drinks today! Subway, where winners eat.
I understand during this time period that Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield were at the height of their powers and reshaping multiplayer, but that doesn't diminish the impact that Uncharted 2 had on the PS3. It turned the tide of the console wars, and in a way, it was everything Killzone wasn't. Killzone was supposed to be this first-person shooter that was going to be a Halo killer. It was supposed to go toe-to-toe with Halo, and it never took off in the way that Uncharted did. I played so much of Uncharted's multiplayer back in the day, and I miss it so much. But as always, the fan community comes to the rescue. Uncharted Reloaded is an ambitious project that is striving to bring Uncharted's multiplayer back due to some intense neglect from Naughty Dog. I'm not going to dive into Uncharted Reloaded too much in this video. That could be a great topic for another video. However, I do want to mention that I believe you need a PS3 to play Uncharted Reloaded. I don't know about you, but damn boys, I'm a lot closer to getting a PS3 than a PS5. Uncharted 2 along with 3 had such unique multiplayer, and I'm sure many other fans of the series have such fond memories surrounding it. Its legacy has not left my mind. While the other kids I went to school with were playing COD on their 360s, I was proudly playing Uncharted on my PS3. What are some of your memories of Uncharted's multiplayer? Something that cannot be understated that makes Uncharted 2 so great is that it is a proper, faithful sequel. Where the first game succeeded, it built upon it. Where the first game failed, 2 improved. I replayed Drake's Fortune for this video, and like I touched on earlier, it had great characters, some good writing, and impressive visuals. Sometimes the dialogue deliveries, it felt a little wooded.
Let me see it. No, this is the place.
There's nothing here, Nate.
And the writing to give the characters depth and their unique traits feels ham-fisted and rushes their introductions. Drake is a bit more of an ass, and they really drive home what a womanizer Sully is.
I promise you that...
Son of a bitch.
Hey!
Yeah, you weren't too old for that little barmaid in Lima, were you?
Ha! Well, that was different.
Yeah, well, I always told you to stay away from the bad guys. And the bad girls.
The writers scaled back on this an appropriate amount to make sure they still have these traits and they are more likable. Ultimately, you still like them in the first game. The ratings just improved more in the sequel, like we talked about in the gameplay section. Holy f***, the gameplay and controls are so much better. The aiming and camera angles in Drake's Fortune are awkward, sluggish, and don't feel responsive. The camera angles in 2 are a proper over-the-shoulder look, along with it feeling more snappy and smooth to shoot. The fixed camera angles in Drake's Fortune didn't feel right. Again, that weird PS2.5 effect. The visual fidelity is improved like we mentioned earlier, with Naughty Dog being more familiar with the Cell broadband engine and a breathtaking experience of a game that plays as well as it looks. This seriously has to be one of the best sequels in video game history. Drake's Fortune is still a really great game, and it introduced a series that would have a huge generational impact. And my wife has been busting my balls with how much I love Uncharted 2, Halo 2, and Star Wars Battlefront 2, saying that I just love sequels. It's not helping my case that 2 is my favorite number, is it? What made this game so great? The gameplay, story, characters, multiplayer, dialogue, graphics, music, improvements from the first game.
Everything!
This game is a masterpiece, and everyone should do themselves a favor and play this game. It's an experience you won't forget, and you will find yourself revisiting and laughing at the hilarious dialogue every time. And I feel like I haven't talked about the dialogue enough because there's so much about this game that is incredible. Going through the script writing process, there's so much to talk about, and if I missed anything or if there's anything that you want about Uncharted 2 for further coverage that you'd like to see, let us know in the comments. The dialogue is so funny and efficient when it comes to moving the plot forward. The voice acting in Uncharted 2 is top tier. This game doesn't quite crack my top 3 games of all time, but it's definitely in my top 5. It had such a huge impact on me that I switched over from Xbox to get a PlayStation. There were other factors too, like, the PlayStation had free online service, its price cuts, and Xbox having the Red Ring of Death just really put a sour taste in my mouth. It's an impactful game that showed people PlayStation didn't get too big for their britches in the 7th generation. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. This is one I'm really passionate about, and Uncharted 2 will always hold a special place in my heart, so this video was a real treat to make. Naughty Dog was my favorite game developer during this time, and it seemed like they just kept churning out banger after banger. They've changed a lot in their more recent history, and not much for the better in my opinion. But we still have some incredible games we can always revisit. Speaking of revisiting, I'm gonna have to get my hands on a PS3 and play Uncharted Reloaded. The adventure of Nathan Drake in Uncharted 2 is something special. What are your thoughts on Uncharted 2? Have you played Uncharted Reloaded to revisit the game's incredibly fun multiplayer? Let us know, and again, thank you so much for watching. Peace!
Space. When machine finds itself becoming more man than man. We are tasked with uncovering the insurmountable odds of our own humanity